Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now we have a lot of breaking news in regards to our second stimulus payment. Several states across the country, like Missouri, Colorado, and New Mexico, have already approved a second stimulus check for their citizens. That's right folks, $1,200 stimulus checks are now being sent out. In addition, Governor Whitmer seeks $100 million state stimulus to repair pandemic damage to the economy. And Senator Lindsey Graham has also given his thoughts on a second stimulus package. Newsweek claims that Senator Graham told reporters that passing another stimulus package is his top priority and number one goal. Everybody, looks like your second stimulus check payment is on the rise, and it might be passed sooner than later. Now before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the notifications bell, and let's get this video to 1,000 likes if you think that Congress needs to pass a second stimulus check. My message to our American government is to pass the stimulus. No more political games. Help the American people and pass the stimulus. If you agree with my message, then leave a comment down below saying, I agree. Now let's check out this clip from MSNBC. MSNBC also reports that Mitch McConnell is refusing to pass more stimulus relief, as unemployment programs are set to expire by the end of the year.
A third of Kentuckians are now struggling to meet their basic needs like food, heat, and rent as the holidays approach, according to the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy. Kentucky has had 162,838 cases of COVID. He is completely absent. He sent y'all home for Thanksgiving break. And we're going to put back up on, we've been putting it on almost every night, the things that are just expiring. Emergency unemployment relief, eviction moratorium, the 2020 rebate checks that people got, student loan forbearance, meaning people are going to have to start paying, the payroll tax deferral. You can go on and on and on, the paid sick leave tax credit. All that stuff is about to expire at the end of the year, and Mitch McConnell doesn't seem to give a damn. Do you see any signs that any of his caucus care any more than he does?
Yeah, I mean, let me just underscore that level of desperation. I literally just came from Hamden, Connecticut, from a food distribution event for the holiday weekend. And the organizers were panicking a little bit because they had enough food for 300 people, and they had what looked like about 300 cars lined up prior to the beginning of the event, and they were scrambling to figure out what they were going to say to all of these families who were now faced with perhaps going hungry over the holiday weekend. People are at the end of their rope, and you are right, Mitch McConnell is refusing to do anything. What we need for Mitch McConnell to do is just enter the negotiating room. He has refused to negotiate with anybody, with Nancy Pelosi, with Chuck Schumer, again, because he's afraid of splitting his caucus. Right now, about half of the Republicans want to do nothing. They think that this should just be all up to the states, or that Joe Biden should be saddled with the entirety of the problem. And so Mitch McConnell is sort of putting the unity of his caucus ahead of the survival of the nation, because there are 20 Republicans that would vote with 47 Democrats in order to pass a pretty substantial coronavirus relief bill, but he doesn't want to split up the Republicans again heading into Georgia.
Everybody, tell me who you think is to blame for holding back our second stimulus check. Is it the Republicans or the Democrats? Leave your comments down below. Senator Lindsey Graham also wants to pass more stimulus, according to Newsweek. Republicans and Democrats are divided over the next stimulus package, but Senator Lindsey Graham may be able to be persuaded to back a larger package, depending on what's included in it. It has been 8 months since Congress passed the CARES Act, but the unity that made the relief possible has been absent from Capitol Hill. Many Senate Republicans are backing a smaller targeted stimulus package, while Democrats are continuing to push for a bigger stimulus relief bill. Senator Graham, who just won an election, considers another stimulus package a top priority and told reporters that it is his number one goal to pass another stimulus package until we get a vaccine. Graham told WCNC he didn't see much desire for lawmakers to help President Trump and predicted a bipartisan breakthrough after the election is over. That stimulus package, he said, would be somewhere around $2 trillion, a number that's closer to Speaker Nancy Pelosi's price tag than the Republicans' $500 billion proposal. Newsweek goes on to say that a week before his interview with WCNC, the South Carolina senator told reporters he would support a bigger package as long as it's smart. His support for a bigger package included a tweet from Trump telling legislators to go big or go home. However, that does not mean Senator Graham will be ready and willing to sign onto Democrats' proposals. He criticized a $2.2 trillion House proposal for the inclusion of provisions, including a ballot harvesting requirement that is not related to pandemic. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you believe what Senator Graham is telling us? Does he truly support a bigger stimulus package, and one that is $2 trillion? Or do you think this is all for show, and just to please Americans? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Newsweek says that Graham stated, the $2.2 trillion package that the House passed doesn't have a penny for small businesses. There's no PPP money in it. There's no requirement that you have a social security number before you get a $1,200 stimulus check. In addition, President Trump has been supportive of a second stimulus check for months, and more than 120 economists penned an open letter calling for more direct payments. As you can see, folks, almost everybody in Congress, including several economists, 120 to be exact, want more stimulus to be approved and want the American people and want Americans to receive a second stimulus payment. However, there is a roadblock, and that is that both parties in Congress, the Republicans and the Democrats, will continue to play these political games and not get their work done. In fact, Congress is on recess as we speak. Newsweek also reports that Congress is up against the wire to pass another relief package, as they only have a few weeks left of the legislative session before the year ends. Legislators will have to return to Washington, D.C. on Monday, and while they technically have enough time to pass another package before the new Congress begins, no one knows for sure if that will happen. Michigan Governor Whitmer, is also seeking $100 million state stimulus to repair pandemic damage to the economy. States such as Missouri, New Mexico, and Colorado have already begun sending out stimulus checks. So maybe Michigan might be the next state to pass more stimulus. Detroit News reports that Governor Gretchen Whitmer wants the Republican-controlled legislature to pass a state-based stimulus plan of up to $100 million in response to the pandemic that ravaged Michigan's economy. The governor made the request in a letter to lawmakers this week, as the federal government has struggled to approve a new round of financial relief. The idea could become a focus of negotiation during the lame duck session, the period between election and the end of the year, when unresolved bills officially die and term-limited legislators depart. Whitmer is seeking up to $100 million that will provide direct financial support to the families and small businesses that have been hit hardest by the pandemic. That's according to a letter dated Wednesday. Detroit News goes on to say that Whitmer wrote, Michigan families are hurting, and while we must continue to advocate for meaningful support from the federal government, we cannot afford to wait. Whitmer has also issued new restrictions to shutter movie theaters and bowling alleys and halt indoor dining at restaurants and bars beginning November 18th. These closures are expected to be lifted on December 8th. With that being said, everybody, that is all the news in regards to our second stimulus check and second stimulus payment. If you found this video useful, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the notifications bell, and let's get this video to 1,000 likes if you think that Congress must stop playing political games and pass the stimulus. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and until next time, have a great day.